Wisdom Jules Radio Show.
Hello, Wisdom. Good morning, everyone in Wisdom. I hope you're all well. I hope every Is that better? Testing. Alright. I can edit that out anyway. Alright, hello, Wisdom. How are we? Anyone want to come on the stage right now, have a chat, introduce yourself to me? I'd love to get to know where you're from, where you're tuning in from, how you've been as well. Lots going on for me at the moment. I've been, live streaming the podcast on my Facebook page, getting into live streaming. I'm using two products at the moment called Streamlabs and Streamyard. Very good for beginner streamers who want to start out even just hosting a podcast. And I can have my morning coffee at the same time as well. But this is what I love about social audio. I get to talk to people on my iPhone all the way in my room. I just got up, done my meditation, and yes, I feel great. Alright, the weather right now is 8 degrees Celsius, precipitation 21%, humidity 86%, wind 8 kilometers an hour. It's going to be a top of 15 degrees Celsius, rain predicted, oh god, and a low of 7 degrees Celsius. Where I am in the world, so it is winter, and I am keeping warm. Yeah, so the thing is, living the secret, I guess. It's all about, what's your secret in your life, and, what do you want to achieve in the next 5 to 6 years, or the next 6 months? What are you doing? Are you living like a millionaire lifestyle? How would a millionaire live? In your eyes, that how would someone who has achieved, what you want to do, has gotten to the top? What do the rich people do differently than the poor during inflation and the inflation times like we are in now? So these are all the things I've had to learn myself as well. Again, I'm learning every day. Every day is a new day for me. Every day I get up. Hopefully I can go for a hike this week if I can. It's not raining too much, and I will. But it's all about just getting your name out there and getting your work out there at the same time, is the way I put it into context. That. But there was a book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It was an interesting movie. If you ever got to watch it, Bob Proctor was on there. Talked about the law of attraction. And it was, it was sort of I would say a bastardized version of it. Of the law of attraction. It was sort of like, you could just sit down and visualize a Ferrari or something, and it would come in your life. But it is true, if you are, have you ever noticed when you wanting to manifest things like a sports car, you notice you drive past them a fair bit, and you think, shit, What the hell is going on here? What is going on in this place? You know that? I guess there is a power to the universe that we just don't understand. But this is what I love about this app. You know, I love wisdom. You know, it's the best. Wisdom's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the future of the app grow too. So there's some good goal setting apps that I use. One that I use is called Strides. I will reference Strides in the podcast description. If you'd like to use it, please do. For me, it's helped keep me on track of my goals and what I want to do and my achievements and how I want to live life too. Strides has helped. It's simple, it's easy to use, it's basic, and it definitely has purpose, and I'll tell you that. Definitely has purpose. You know that. I suppose it's all about finding what works for you in life. You know that. What is going to work for you in the next, 5 to 10 years. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But it's all about having that discipline for yourself as well, and staying on track with what you want to do and how you want to be. How you going, dude?
Powerful topic you're talking about here today, Stephen.
Powerful topic, how are you, Malcolm?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, good. How's things with you?
Things are pretty moderate right now. I've been, honestly, a little withdrawn from work lately because I've been too preoccupied with like personal plans and stuff like that. Personal things come around, you push aside the work, and I think it's time for me to get back to work. So that's great.
And what's keeping you busy as well?
Fun's over.
Yeah.
What was your question?
What's been keeping you busy? Are you still doing your show?
No, I have not been doing my show. That's another thing too. I've been too preoccupied with a lot of these trips that I've been taking with wonderful people that I've met, and going to these events and having a lot of friend time and just enjoying myself lately. And now I have actually staggered amongst a new kind of contract, and the problem is looking for another vendor right now for the specific location that I have in mind, but I need it to be a profitable business. So the problem is given the nature of where a lot of young entrepreneurs are, I don't think they're ready to handle the responsibilities of owning a smaller business just yet. Though I've thought about a few potential prospects. I know that's besides the point, but that's one of the things I'm grappling with right now.
Yeah, you're always going to be prospecting when you're doing business.
Yes, as always. Yes.
Crazy,
Anywho,
isn't
how,
it?
how have you been though?
Yeah, good. I started live streaming on my Facebook page, my podcast as well, so I'm trying that out with Streamyard. Have you been using that? And Streamlabs. So I'm live streaming. I'm trying to build confidence in talking in front of a camera while doing a show.
Yes.
And that's harder for me. I mean, the social audio is great, but it's always good to step out of your comfort zone if you can.
I agree. That's what I did when I first started doing shows online with MOT Media. It was my first time showing myself out to the world, and I think the more exposure you give yourself, the better you become at your craft, essentially.
Yeah, how's I know you're on TikTok. How's TikTok treating you?
That's another platform that I haven't been on in quite some time. I actually try to avoid going on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
simply
What about
because
true?
it doesn't serve me. But it
You,
does serve a wide demographic of people. I'm just saying it doesn't serve me personally. But the channel, oh crap, I probably should. Maybe I should give you a little bit of context. So I no longer partner with the company that I once used to work with before I moved out to California, which was MOT Media. And I no longer do MOT Media anymore. And I think this will be the first time of everyone finding out, at least those that follow me. Probably should have made a public announcement. My bad. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
we terminated our contract with each other, though it was a verbal contract more than it was a physical. Um, and with that being the case, they've gone on to do bigger and better things, and I'm out here in California drafting up my own contracts, grinding, hustling, trying to find other angles to take, because I'm still exploring what it is that I like to do personally. And when I was with MLT Media, I felt like I wasn't doing enough of that for myself. So I think it was a mutual disagreement amongst both parties on our direction of what we want to do, and his direction is different than mine. And I think it's important for people to do that in life. Is that if they're taking a certain direction and your body's not agreeing with it, you're not really as mentally invested in it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
starting to not serve you, then I think it's important to really ask yourself, how can you realign and how can you pivot from that so it doesn't drag you down?
Yeah, exactly. Also, too, I've got a community page on my YouTube channel now. So YouTube's given small creators, the community where I could post as well. So that's been a thankful achievement from YouTube, Malcolm.
That is amazing,
Uh,
dude. Look at what you can do with that as long as you don't get blocked or banned or shadow banned.
exactly. Well, go have a look when you have time and keep up to date. I'm doing a live stream called The
I get
Music
your
Show.
I believe I'm in like a subscription of yours. I get my
Yeah,
inbox. Good
even if
stuff.
you'd like to write me a question on music, I'll answer it in the live stream for you.
Okay, I got a question on music for you then, right now, Mr. Stephen Shields. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, just put it to me in writing, and I'll do it on the show for you.
Can I ask you live?
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Okay. Um, what key do you normally produce your songs in? For me, it's normally B flat on average.
I go atonal, so no key signature when I compose. I tried composing with key signature, but it would throw me off, especially in film. You generally don't have a key signature. You just do it atonal, like chromatic. So I could change key. I could go A flat or E. I like playing in the minor keys, like
That was going to be my next question too.
F
I'm glad.
minor.
Yeah, it's curious. Your songs seem more
That's just
minor than major.
yeah. That's just how I write. I have wrote. I do have some major songs on my channel. I've got a film clip that's more for kids, so I will put it in a major key. It's good practice, actually.
It is. It is. It's a great discipline, if you ask me. Simply because there's a huge dynamic range of chords in the minor scale and the minor key signature,
Mm.
and I think it's amazing, especially chromatic notes in chords. Oh my goodness, that's some of my music has been following that trend consistently. I don't really boast about my music, folks, but I have a YouTube page. Don't look for me. I also have a SoundCloud. Don't look for me. And also, a lot of my projects I have yet to actually put out into the public. So still thinking about whether I want to do that. But a lot of my songs that I've been making personally have been in the minor scale, like yours have.
Mm.
And I can relate to you in that sense.
Here's a question for you. I notice when you go live on Wisdom, you get more community engagement, I've noticed. How do you do that? Does that just come natural for you? Because that's something I'm struggling with. Getting more
I
people to
think
join.
now a lot of the mentors on here are going to say the exact same thing that I'm saying to you on this, that I'm about to say to you on the stage, and it's a very simple formula for them. A lot of them is just all about it. All it is about is rapport building rapport. But I think it's important
Gotcha.
to set the stage for that kind of rapport building. So as you can, if you look through, I'm not a master at this at all. I just love communicating with people. So this is just amateur advice, guys, for those that are listening, guys and gals.
Mhm.
I honestly do like random topics about like conversation tables. I haven't done a conversation table in a minute. I'll talk about lately I've been doing rather smaller segments than something bigger and profound because here's the thing, I'm still figuring out my life. I'm still figuring out what works
Mm.
for me, and I don't want to go on a stage to talk about something that I'm not completely well versed in. And I've
Mm.
noticed that some people do that, and I'm not knocking them for how they conduct themselves. But I will say it is much more beneficial when you have knowledge on the topic that you're talking about, so that way you can educate your audience instead of just aimlessly blurting out information. But that's just me and my observation. I just think it's important that when you do propose a topic to talk about, that you can confidently engage in substantive discussion regarding that specific topic. Like with you with politics, I think that's a very interesting angle to do. I just would suggest making it something much more, I guess I wouldn't say controversial, but something that grabs the eyes. Now, me personally, I'm a recurring guest on your show, and I don't mind constantly coming on your show and speaking with you because I love having conversations with you. And I think
Mm.
it's important that we build that rapport whilst also having a conversation about something that is
Mhm.
engaging. So I think to narrow down that answer for you, I truly believe it's behind being yourself and having rapport building, letting people get to know you in the eyes of your show. Because some people have a structure. I think you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want to be here for in this platform, in this atmosphere? What is your driving factor?
Well, to stand up for being shadow banned for once, stand up for being discriminated against tech companies who have put me down because I've got disability and for my conservative views, I sent out a newsletter about that. Shadow banning. I've been talking a lot about it, and it's not fair, Malcolm.
You're right. It
You
isn't
know.
fair. You know what else isn't fair? Bureaucracy.
Mm. Well, let's
Sad.
talk about this Elon Musk because apparently he's backing out of this Twitter deal, and Twitter wants to now sue him. But I think this is just political football from Twitter.
Ooh, yes, you. This is a great topic. I was engaging. I'm right now actively engaging in several different discussions regarding this. So I
Mm.
am more than glad to talk about this because I've actually just listened to a few shows and yeah, ask me a question. I'm curious on your angle on this as well.
So, okay, Elon Musk is so rich he could create his own Twitter like Truth Social.
You could.
But why is he backing out now? I thought if he brought Twitter out, this would be fantastic. But
Okay.
Twitter's just playing political football.
So yes, there's a little bit of Twitter playing. I wouldn't say that it's political football. I would say that it's more so withholding information at the expense of protecting their values and what they stand up for. Because think about it from an entrepreneurial standpoint. If you built up a company with a certain values and things that made your company what it is, that's your baby, right? And some random rich guy steps in and says, I want to buy your company, I want to change everything that you put together. That's probably going to make you feel a certain kind of way. Like that's like me coming into your show saying, Steven, I want to buy you out of your show and I want to make it in my image. That's kind of like a big FU, wouldn't you think? But that's
Yep.
besides the point. That's just the underlying narrative. The major narrative, as I've been listening to recently and I've been talking to people about, is that there's a working theory that Elon never really wanted Twitter in the first place, because historically, if he wanted to withdraw shares of his stock, amounting to over 8.5 billion shares of his stock, and if you, as an insider holding a vast majority of the shares, decides to make a withdrawal or divest into your stock, being the majority shareholder, that's going to cause a huge fluctuation and disruption of its price action, making it go down. And historically, in the past, there have been institutional investors that hold the majority of the stock that have divested in their company, but it has been turmoil for them. And with that being the case, he wanted to do it ever so discreetly. Like for example, his aimless tweet on Twitter about saying that whether or not he should sell 10% of his stock, and that call it was a poll on Twitter, and inevitably the stock did plummet. It didn't plummet, but it tumbled down quite a hefty percentage after doing that poll. And in addition to that, he had mentioned that in his acquisition to Twitter, he was going to withdraw some of his shares, use about a few billion of his shares, a few hundred million of his shares, amounting to a few billion, to invest towards the Twitter deal, which is what made the shares of Twitter go down, as well as you saw a lot of institutional divesting activity in that stock. And it's actually kind of genius, but messed up in a way. It doesn't seem like rather besides the fact that Elon has been extremely vocal about his political views and about what he likes politically and dislikes politically, that's just him expressing his opinion. But from an entrepreneurial standpoint, it seems like he's making a move that would suggest that all he was doing is just finding a scapegoat to withdraw money from his own stock, just to pocket some money from his shares. Plus, Twitter is severely overvalued for its price. It's over $28 billion, but when you factor in its debt, Twitter is in over $13 billion of debt. So the way to truly value what a company is worth, despite its share price on the stock market, is determine its actual market cap and value minus by its debt, which would be an average way to go about it. There's more complex arithmetic, but I'm just going to simplify it in the instance of this conversation. So with Twitter being over $13 billion in debt, being worth over $38 billion or so, which the offer that Musk proposed was over $44 billion, you're overpaying. That takes away the $13 billion from the $38 billion, making it down to $25 billion. So in hindsight, if you don't include the debt that they're in, that they've taken out, they're worth $25 billion, and that's severely undervalued. But it's overpriced. Twitter is severely overpriced on the market for its per share, PE's price and earnings per share, times 100. Like, are you serious? Like, it's ridiculous. The numbers are inflated. It's nonsense. It's nonsensical. So that within of itself, from a technical standpoint, and the company and what it's worth, it seemed unfeasible for a billionaire to give a company more than what it's worth, without there being any other stipulations. I don't believe Elon got cold feet for the deal in the midst of the deal. I just personally believe as though this was something that was clearly planned. A lot of analysts are saying on the market that this is something that, because after 3 months, you mean to tell me you make a deal in April and then 3 months after you're like, I don't think I want Twitter because of the bots issue. I don't think I want Twitter because of the fact that their CEO is not being as transparent with the attorneys and the processing as far as that. And you can make that argument, which would would validate the reasons for a termination of a business agreement. It doesn't seem to anyone. I mean, Elon losing $1 billion is like somebody losing $10, not even $10 a dollar out of their $100 bank account. That's not going to make or break his wallet, because there is a termination fee that he would have to pay, which would be $1 billion. But Twitter is getting really heartbroken over the fact that he had buyer's remorse. I'm using air quotes, quote unquote, buyer's remorse, that they now want to take him to court to try to get him to pay for the initial $44 billion that he offered, which he did enter an agreement with them, a merging agreement, to take the company private. But there's nothing that says that you can't withdraw that you cannot withdraw from a business deal. There's nothing that says that. There are stipulations that, there are minor ramifications to withdrawing from any business deal, and he knew that. You got to come on. He's a top player in the business industry. Sure, he knows. Okay, and the damage is not going to be as bad. The ramifications, though, for Twitter is going to be catastrophic, though, because Twitter has already collapsed over 20% since the initial announcement. I would say maybe I'm throwing numbers out there in smoke, but it is true. Well, in the sake of not using numbers, Twitter has definitely gone down quite a bit since the initial press release. So, with that bearing in mind, it has yielded to its investors a lot of deficiencies about the companies, their ethics, their practices, their values, their their overall stability. And having that in question makes investors very skeptical. Plus, their earnings, well, they weren't the best. Okay, let's be honest. Twitter doesn't really make a lot of money. They don't. They really don't. A lot of their money is circulated through the current services that they have and advertising and agreements brokered through advertising. But even when you factor that out, what growth are they actually attaining? What true growth are they actually attaining besides that on the stock market? Well, at least up until recently. Not really much of anything. So what buoyancy do they hold in the market? So now all these things are coming out about Twitter, and Elon, knowing what he did, is just gonna nonchalantly execute this business deal. He has the top attorney. He has literally the top attorney working on these cases, New York bound. But so does Twitter as well. But I personally think this will work out in his favor. Elon's, to be specific.
I hope and pray that he does buy Twitter out and can change it. But
no, I mean. Another theory that you could work out, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, is that he could be doing this simply to get a lower price for Twitter. He could be haggling right now.
See, look, I've been in business for 1 year, and I've noticed everything is so slow in business. But when you're buying out a company, why do you need lawyers to sign off on paperwork, and yet they delay everything, Malcolm?
That's just part of conducting business when you're moving big money around.
And the lawyers they're expensive.
They can afford it. I mean, over $100 million in attorney fees is nothing to these guys. Plus, all it takes is to write it off in the corporate bank account. And banks eventually charge it off or whatever they choose to do with that. But lawyers get their money. They're not worried about the expenses that go into brokering a business agreement. Come on, you're talking about big players now.
But I wish business was fast, not slow.
Why is it slow?
Yeah, why is it
just
slow?
Just like in politics, everything is delayed on purpose.
I've had to learn a lot of patience for myself in my journey.
You and I both, my friend.
You know, when you're building relationships, like you said before, building rapport, when you're prospecting to your future clients as well, you just got to be prepared for rejection, because you'll get a lot of rejection in entrepreneurship. I guess that's the same thing as this buyout. It's haggling as well. Yeah.
You guys really want Elon to buy Twitter? That's fascinating.
I do.
I can understand why. But right now,
like I said, he's so rich he could just start his own Twitter like Truth Social. And why not?
Because he has a monopolized mind. He has the mindset of monopolizing. When you have that much money, you can just monopolize over things. Like right now, Amazon's about to acquire, I believe Amazon and Grubhub, or Amazon's going to be pairing with one of these food delivery services, and they're going to be monopolizing over a small business, so they have more accessibility to its customer base. So you have these bigger companies that are monopolizing over smaller businesses, or just businesses in general, to have more, I would say, firepower or buoyancy in the market, more weight in the game.
Well, let's talk about the buyout. You remember Bebo, the old chat site?
Yes. Vaguely,
now that got bought out by Twitter, apparently.
They probably needed they probably just wanted the extra ammunition for a potential department that they plan on creating in the future. But right now, companies are actually bigger companies like Facebook and like Tesla are actually cutting labor. So making an acquisition like that would only
Notice that. But
it
do you
would
think that
actually
you
detrimental.
you mentioned too that you're not happy with a buyout? Now, the person who created Bebo got a huge buyout. I think he's living in San Francisco, so he's rich for life. He's set for life. But you mentioned you were against that. You don't like the buyout idea.
The thing is there's so much more you can do with the company that you have. If you have a company like Twitter asking you to buy your company is valued way more than that amount.
Mm. The thing is, look, I look at it from a different point of view, right? If someone offered me, just say $1 billion to buy me out, I'd say yes, and I'll tell you why. I'd be able to retire, and I'd be set for life. That's just my opinion.
What if it's your dream? What if it's something that you built from the ground, that's your baby, and somebody wants to buy your baby from you? What if you were passionate in building it, and someone just said, I want that from you, and just bought it from you, just because they can? How would that make you feel?
I'll be
If I,
honest with you, Malcolm, my friend.
mm-hmm.
It'd make me feel good, and I'll tell you why. I'd be able to travel where I want. I'd be able to buy a house. I'd be able to just retire and just relax because
So
I've
was the
worked
point of
hard
you
building
creating your business just to generate wealth?
profit as well, make a living doing what I love. But that's my opinion, and it's fine for people to see it differently.
Of course, I can understand that. I can understand that completely. I mean, um, you eventually get the
Just
payout that you'd like. What would you do after that then? Besides the things that you love, like what would you continue an alternative business that still provides similar resources like the business that you got bought out from?
yeah, I'd start another YouTube channel, do another podcast. I'd have a studio, proper studio. Yeah, I'd do something different. It'd be like a hobby or a passion project then. So I'd still keep working and keep on living life, living the American dream.
The American dream. That's funny, man. You got me there. American.
Yeah, but you see it differently, a buyout. So just say I don't know, someone offered you $1 billion to buy you out. What's your views on the buyout?
My thinking is, if you're offering me $1 billion to buy me out, then my company is worth well more than the money that you're offering me, simply because of something. I clearly possess something that you want from me, and all it would take is for me to hire a team of additional analysts and business experts on my team to emulate that of what the business is trying to get, to enhance my business so I get to that valuation. Yes, you can get
Mm,
bought out, but if that's my baby, something that I built from the ground up, something that I had a passion for, the one thing that drove me to work as hard as I did and to sweat as much as
mm,
I did for the business, I'm going
mm,
to value that like it's a child to me. Okay, and no one can
mm,
buy me out. That's what Elon Musk faced. A company bought him out bought his website that he helped create for the internet, but
mm,
people he was forced. He was coerced into either selling out two of his companies or keeping one of them, but he decided to keep both of his companies because those are something that he built that meant something to himself. That's a fabric of his being. It's a byproduct of his hard work, his sweat, his determination, and he's managed to make
mm.
both of those companies into multi-million slash billion-dollar companies. So I mean, like, you can do it. And if a company's threatening, or not threatening, but suggesting that they'd rather buy you out and save you the trouble, I mean, that's them. That's like, I'd take that as a compliment. Like, huh, I'm doing something right if Twitter wants to buy a website for me.
Mm. But see, wouldn't you have a right to be a shareholder then if they buy you out, that you get dividends from their company? Because I know that happens as well.
I'm sure you can brokerage an agreement that allows you to still gain off of the business. They own, let's say, 80%, you own 20%. You can brokerage something like that. It's not impossible. But what's the joy of having someone else own your business and running it the way that you wouldn't run it? Like, I don't know. I feel
Mm.
like that's taking away from all the hard work that I put into the business just to be taken away. and
You'll be able.
I value what I build more than what I make out of what I build. Like, there's not going to be any amount of money that speaks to me that makes me go, okay, I'm going to give up my sweat, my dreams, and everything that I put into something, and just let someone else screw that up for me. And that's kind of how
You'll
the
be.
Twitter CEO feels right now.
You'll be a millionaire for life, Malcolm, and you'd be able to travel first class, go on all the nice holidays. You'd get a big mansion, and you'd live the American dream.
Who cares about all of that stuff? I mean, like, let me be specific. You're coming off a little aggressive there, Malcolm. I'm gonna reel it back in. I'm what I mean to say is I'm a minimalist, so like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care for those kind of assets. Like, my friend got a Lamborghini. Like, I was like, good for you, dude. Like, I mean, it's a nice car. It's a nice car, but that's $300,000 down the drain. You could have invested that and made $600,000 in a matter of a 2-quarter period, dude. Like, you know what
Or
you could
buy
be
a
doing with
house.
it? Like, you can, yes, or buy a house. But the thing is I feel as though people are throwing their money down the drain on depreciating assets and things that are not going to generate wealth for yourself, for your future, and for what you plan on building. Are you creating a dynasty right now, or are you setting yourself short-term goals and eventually just giving up or becoming complacent at the expense of those short-term goals that you're setting for yourself? Like, once he got his Lamborghini, I literally asked him, like, dude, okay, so what's next? He was like, I don't know. So you lived just to get to this moment to buy a Lamborghini. You thought nothing else more than that. He's like, I didn't really think about anything more. Gotcha. Well, maybe you should start making some goals, man. Set something for yourself. Contribute if you like. Find much more
Exactly.
meaning than assets. I just encourage anyone to there's much more. There's way more meaning to life than just the objects around us that bring us sentimental value.
Well, it's all about finding value. But yeah, you do have a good point when you are building your company from scratch. Okay, it is a good point, and then someone offers a buyout. I don't know. It's a hard one as well.
You working as hard as you are towards the company that you're building right now, Steven, and I offer you $1 billion buyout, that probably would be like, that sounds great, but if I've done as much hard work as I've done now, and it's paying off, and it's saying that that the work that I'm doing, that you're doing, is worth $1 billion, then you've got to remind yourself you're worth way more than that. If companies trying to determine a price for the work that you've done so far.
That's a good point. Always great to have you on the podcast as well.
Absolutely, man. Always glad to be here. I look forward to more discussions with you in the future. I hope you take care and have yourself a wonderful day.
You too, man. Take care. All right. Okay. Can see we got another guest. Let's see how this goes. Hello. Yeah, good. How are you? You there?
I'm doing great.
And where are you from?
Good. Oh, I'm actually from. What about you?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm from Florida, stateside. Where are you?
I'm all the way in Australia. So what do you enjoy about today's conversation?
In entrepreneur, um, a fledgling one.
Sorry, guys, technical difficulties there. Um, Apologize about that. I don't know what's going on with the app at the moment. Yes, it's a very challenging world, I guess. By the way, it's you know how do I say it? It is interesting. Would you take a buyout from someone and they basically had a lot of value? Yeah, that's really interesting from Malcolm's point of view. Always love talking to Malcolm. and getting his idea. But yeah, this Twitter buyout, I don't know why it's delaying so much. I don't know what's causing this to slow down as well. Alright, let's see. I'll bring you on and I'll see if this technology is working. Hello?
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I can't hear you. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. And you entrepreneur, are you? Technical difficulties, guys. Sorry about that.
I'm in
No, it's
clean energy business.
okay. Alright, looks like the app is glitching right now. I don't know what's causing this. I'll have to end the show. Alright, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the Stephen Shields radio show and turn on your notifications wherever you get your podcasts. New podcasts are available every Friday at 6 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. Apologise, I don't know what's happening with the app. Was a bit glitchy this morning. It's technology for you. I can't help that. Who knows? The app's got to be updated soon. So, yeah. Alright, guys, take care and bye for now.